Coming to you live from Houston with Ernesto Verdugo and Dubai with Dave Crane, you're watching the Toilet Paper Diaries.
Well, today we're going to be starting with a very interesting show, and also in preparation for our Fast Forward series, which is going to be a little bit more business oriented. I mean, we have been covering so far all sorts of different topics of what has been going on. We have been talking about love. We have been talking about beliefs. We have been talking about comedy. I mean, we have in these 26 episodes, we have been talking about all sorts of different things. And today is great that we're going to be focusing a little bit more in business, which is, I think, important because I believe everybody understands that there's going to be a gap from where we were a month ago or a month and a half ago and where we're going to actually be getting out of these quarantine and lockdown.
I think so. But here's one of the things that I think made it so important to veer slightly off business for yesterday and to bring it back in to business again is I think that what we've had with this whole experience is a massive wake-up call about relationships and about empathy and about understanding and about being connected, because they're the only things that realistically, more than all the goods that we've bought and we've got cars and shiny objects, have been keeping people afloat. And I really do hope that the new relationship people have with each other is something that maintains and has quality and worth in the new economy that's going to be coming after the pandemic has calmed down.
Well, let's just get started with some of the news before we go into our content. I wanted to share this because, of course, I think it is news. And before this is just all news, I wanted to share with you what is going on right now in the Netherlands. And I think it's just amazing. This is Lisse in Holland, the Keukenhof. All the tulip fields are right now, for the first time ever, completely empty, and it's just a pity. I mean, I have been there several times, and we're not there to be able to see this. There's no tourism. Nobody's actually looking at this except drones and a few lucky people that get to see this beauty. So I think that's just a nice way to get started.
It is beautiful. Did they have the opportunity for people to take a virtual tour as well?
Yes, actually, it's good that you're telling me. Yes, indeed. If you actually look for tulip fields in tulip fields virtual tour in Google, you will be able to see all the footage that they have actually taken with drone. So it's one of the great things that right now we are going into our O2O environment, and we're not going to tell too much about what the O2O environment is, because I think that's just something that we need to cover in detail, but just keep watching so that you see and you find out what is O2O.
I'm fascinated, and when we do share it, people go, and then somebody's going to copyright it, so you wish you'd done it first before you mentioned it at all.
Yeah, well,
so what else have we got?
Bear in mind, it was Dave and myself that coined that term, right?
Yeah, we will sue. We'll come all the way around your house.
Correct. So in episode 26, on the 14th of March, 2020, we actually coined the term O2O. That's it. Anybody that comes and complains, we have right now.
8 minutes past 9 Dubai time. That's when it happened. So behold and beware. What else can we copyright today, Ernesto?
Well, I think that's just a good copywriting that we're actually just getting. I just wanted to share with you something which I thought it was really interesting. Look at how creative people are to actually figure out exactly what are those 6 feet or the meter, 1 meter away that you have to be for the social distancing. I mean, I have seen so many different pictures like this in social media But it's just really amazing how creative can people be for creating these kind of things.
Do you think I can do it with my hair as well? I think it would probably work quite well. Here's the thing. Santa is going through a really bad time with the coronavirus, isn't he? I mean, I didn't think he'd drop so badly down. But I've got to be honest, and I don't know this guy. I don't mean too much disrespect, but just a little bit. If anybody goes out like that, they deserve it. He doesn't look like a guy for whom personal hygiene is at the top of his buying list. So with that T-shirt and probably squirrels living in his beard, I don't think he needs to say to people, keep your distance. I think they know.
Yeah, that is just absolutely crazy. So anyway, I think today the big news, and this is, I think, a little bit controversial, is that right now President Trump in the States here has already spoken that he wants to have the U.S. open for business. And contrary to what most people are saying, that it is a good idea, it is not a bad idea. Once again, we try to stay away from politics. We're just reporting how things are working. And I find this a little bit unbelievable. What is it gonna really happen? I mean, are they gonna really go and open again the U.S. for business?
Well, there's a lot to be said for doing it, and a lot to be said for not doing it. My own personal thoughts are, from experience of looking at certain countries who have come back maybe too soon, who've found that the virus has a danger of popping itself back up again. Now, what might be true is the idea of flattening that curve originally. The whole point was, there's no vaccine, but if you can flatten the curve, so the uptake of the danger isn't as bad as the pandemic when it first hit, then maybe you can survive it because you've got enough facilities, enough doctors and nurses, enough experience. So if everybody catches it and 70% of the country catch it over the period of 12 months, then everybody can be treated at the right time with the right kind of help. That's what the plan is. So I guess in many ways, balancing that with the economy would make sense. But in the same way, I think the real danger is that if you haven't really done your sums and your numbers, and you haven't worked out that things are on the way down again, but you're just jumping the gun, then that's a massive danger. You also have to look at, has your entire population slowed it all down? Now, when you got a country as vast as America, then you got so many different independent states doing their stuff that some places started straight away because they had to. Some people put it into place a little bit later, and some came in at the very last minute. You don't know whether any of those ones at the last minute are going to have to go through their 40 days of lockdown in order to cull the coronavirus from spreading to too many people. When you've got such a spread across different lands over such a vast time, you're probably looking about 6 months to be able to guarantee that nobody's got it from start to finish. If you do it halfway through, you run the risk when people start traveling and business and commerce picks up again, you get new red spots, new hot spots that come out of just new commerce and people traveling and not doing the social distancing. So yeah. I think it's a case of watching and seeing.
Pete Garcia, the director from the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce, is telling us, yeah, it's too early to put us in risk for a buck. And I 100% agree. He also mentions here that we got to see the flattening curve yet. And this is what I find incredibly interesting. Right now, and this is something that I recommend you to do, don't stay local. I mean, you have to go a little bit global. You have to figure out what's going on, because for the first time ever in history, we have the opportunity to predict in a short term what's going to be happening. So let's just see how different the world is actually tackling this. This is a video that you shared with me of what is going on right now in Doha, Qatar. Let's just have a look.
Please note, imprisonment of 3 years and a fine of 200,000 Qatari riyals, or any of these, will be the punishment for the violators of the above said instructions. Important announcement. All kinds of gatherings are prohibited on the Corniche beaches, public places, and in front of restaurants and cafeterias. Gatherings for prayers in front of mosques or on the roofs of buildings or any other place is also prohibited as a precautionary measure for your safety.
So this is the Corniche in Doha, which I have been there several times. And now there are robots saying that there's going to be fines for people actually just going against what's going on. There's in Dubai, there's drones. They're cleaning the streets. You're in complete lockdown, and it's just going completely crazy. And if we go to Stockholm, let's see what's going on in Stockholm. So this is what I find really difficult to understand. Have a look.
Social distancing is more relaxed in Sweden. Much of Europe has gone into lockdown in the face of the coronavirus's relentless spread. But in the spring sunshine, Stockholm's cafes have customers. The schools are open, and the Prime Minister has urged people not to panic.
We hope that they are doing the right thing. And I think that, we Swedes normally we are better at social distancing in the first place. So it just feels that we are continuing living the way that we normally do as well.
It's about saving the restaurants. It's about saving the pubs. It's about saving people's work. Maybe we have found a good balance, but let's see when it's over.
The elderly have been told to avoid social contact, crowds of more than 50 banned, but otherwise people are largely free to go about their normal lives. This is how life might have been in Britain too, but then came that computer simulation by Imperial College London that showed that hospitals were about to be overwhelmed, 250,000 people could die, and the country locked down. But here in Sweden, the authorities just don't believe that research. The doctor in charge of the strategy has been charting the upward curve in deaths, but he insists the simulation was based on assumptions and poor data.
I mean, compared to us, it's hugely pessimistic, and I don't think any curve in any country has gone that bad as the Imperial College says it's going to be. And I don't think there is no real connection between having a lot of lockdowns, closing borders, closing schools and so on, and being safer.
Some scientists are horrified by the risk they believe the authorities are taking. Many lives could be lost.
I'm a scientist. I don't trust authorities. I trust data, and I don't see transparency of data that makes me calm to say that the strategy chosen is the best way forward.
But they might be right.
They might be right, and I will open a champagne bottle then. Because this is not about me and who's right or wrong. I think that we should have an open discussion about the scientific data.
The authorities are building a field hospital just in case.
So this is one of the wards then?
That's correct. This is one of possible 60 wards. In every ward it will be 10 beds.
The first patients are expected as soon as Monday.
You work with Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine you'd be building a hospital like this in your home country?
Never, but I'm sure nobody anticipated what we're seeing now in all levels of society.
Sweden is hoping to let the virus spread slowly, an aim Britain once shared. Now the UK is trying to completely shut it down. There's no way of knowing which strategy will save more lives in the long run. Thomas Moore, Sky News, Stockholm.
So it's really interesting just to see how the position of every government is, the position of how every city is, the position of how every different country is, don't you think?
Yeah, I think that ultimately what happens is you're playing with people's lives by making a gamble. And it's like saying, it's almost like putting your family in a car and saying, how quickly can we stop before we hit that wall? And maybe you can do it. Maybe you can do it and drive off in the car. Maybe you'll hit the wall. Do you want to risk it? And so everybody who's saying, let's go back to business, or like in Sweden is saying, we're going to probably be okay. I hope they really are. I really do genuinely hope. And I really hope that what we're dealing with is overkill, and we'll look back at it in centuries' time, or look back at it in 5 years' time and laugh at what we did, because it was never needed to be that well. But I do look at it from right now, and I know that my family is safe. And that is the only thing that matters now, and the only thing that matters in the future. So I think that the people who are making gambles, and good luck, I'm not a politician, I never want to be, are really pushing the boat out on what it is that they think the end result will be. And I hope it works out for everybody. But for me personally, I'm happy we're locked in.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. Tracy Zimmerman is telling us that there's also the element of personal responsibility. And I agree. I mean, it is also another very important thing. And also Pete is also telling us, well, that he recommends to watch Sky News on the situation of northern Italy. So it's very important. We need to keep an eye now. What I think it's really interesting is that this is affecting everybody. I mean, it is affecting, it's from the president to celebrities to...
Yeah, let's have a look and see how other people are dealing with it at the top of the food chain as well as us at the bottom. Who we got lined up?
All right, so let's go with Mark Wahlberg, all the way in Michigan.
Excellent.
When the hardworking nurses and doctors at Beaumont Hospital in Michigan reached out to help keep their patients' spirits up during these unbelievably trying times, we knew that we had to jump right in. The Mark Wahlberg Youth Foundation and Amazon are proud to team up to donate 500 Fire 7 and Fire 7 Kids Edition tablets for patients and their families to use while in isolation. It's the least we can do. You guys are doing so much amazing work. I love you. God bless you. And thank you. Keep it up and stay safe.
He's a good guy as well, great actor, and his whole persona is definitely one about being with the people, and it's nice to see from that actually he puts his money where his mouth is. That's fantastic as well. And so what are other celebrities up to? You got some more we can look at?
Yeah, let's check out Justin Verlander and Kate Upton. Justin, if you are here in the United States, you know that he's a Cy Young pitcher winner. And Kate Upton is one of the biggest stars in the runway right now. So let's check what those guys are up to.
Hey everyone. So just found out that MLB is going to be providing us a paycheck for the next couple of months. Obviously, this is an extremely difficult time for the entire world. There's so many people that are in need, whether it's those that are on the front lines battling this disease head on, or someone who's at home and has lost their job and needs to provide basic necessities such as food and water. So we have decided to donate that paycheck.
Yes, we're going to pick an organization every week who's doing really good work right now and donate the entire week's paycheck to that organization. We'll also be highlighting the organization that we choose so that everyone can see the amazing work they're doing right now.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll be announcing the first organization as soon as we receive the first paycheck. And everybody stay safe out there.
That's cool. So we have a lot of people which are really helping, a lot of celebrities which are really helping, and yeah, I mean we have a ton of confusion here in the world, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring a little clarity on today's show.
Absolutely,
there's a lot of people which are confused.
And I was saying at the beginning of the show about the fact that empathy and caring about people will become an actual currency. And I think what people do during this time and the message that they send to people around them is one of the key things that people will be paying attention to when it comes to post-pandemic time. They'll be looking at who you were and what you did when things were squeezed to see who you're really going to be when times are good. I don't think times are going to be good straight away. I think the relief of getting outside will be major, but I think there's going to be a lot of challenges that are going to hit everywhere. So it's important to share with everybody who you are. I'll be talking about that in a few moments' time anyway, when we analyze exactly what the best way is to get customers back and to establish yourself and your business to be a true force in the coming months.
Yeah, we have one more report from all the way from DC, and I think Rob is going to be announcing something interesting for tomorrow. So let's just have a look.
Rob House.
Thank you, Ernesto and Dave. This is Rob House from sunny Maryland, close to DC, close to Virginia, and also close to losing my mind, but I got it back. We are quarantined in, we're locked in, things are different, but things are better. I'm spending this time because, I realized if you have so much time with yourself, why not get to know yourself more? So I've been spending this time getting to know myself and self-reflect and also think about what I can do for others. So figure out how I can love myself and how I can love others better. So that's what I've been doing. And we got a big day, which is tomorrow. Do One Give Day. It's the Global Give Day, the Global Day of Giving. Hashtag Do One Give. You click that, you'll see what it's all about. It's literally people just giving to people, to animals, or to the planet. That's it. And so what better time than now than to give? And so my heart is focused on becoming a better person and becoming a better person to people. That's what I'm doing. And so I think that's something people should try. I'll let you know how it goes with me. Back to you guys in the studio.
That's
Excellent.
very cool. So it was hashtag do one bring, or what was the hashtag?
Do one give day. Do one give day. GIVE give and DAY day. So it's hashtag do one give day, and that'll be tomorrow actually. So we can review that better tomorrow. But thanks for Rob for getting in touch with us. Rob's a genius when it comes to music and connecting with people. And on LinkedIn, he does these incredible musical posts and raps that are hugely popular. So it's wonderful to see him joining us on the show. So thanks for that, Rob. So we have a number of different things that people around the world have been buzzing about. We have got some time-sensitive stuff, and we have got some stuff about Easter. So there's a really brilliant picture we want to share before Easter is completely out of everybody's minds.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think part of the what we need to start doing for our O2O strategy, which is something that we're going to be sharing with you, is we have to take these pictures actually seriously, because I mean, right now that we are in hiding, contrary to what this guy in camo is doing, we do want to be found, and I think it's just something which is very important. So we have to start moving into more visible mode, and this is a great cartoon to actually get this started. So I know that possibly right now, many of you are actually working like this, which it's not my case, but I think now it's a very important thing to start thinking on how we are going to be bridging the gap from how things were working in the pre-coronavirus time and the post-coronavirus time. So
absolutely, I just want to say to that about that picture you just showed about the guy naked on the internet, that the sales, I think it's from Amazon, was saying that they've sold a fortune of people buying tops, but not many people buying bottoms when it comes to buying clothes. And I think that's a direct result of people wanting to look good online, but not standing up while they're doing it, or something else which has nothing to do with me. So that's an interesting fact that we don't need to talk about again.
Yeah. Well, I think pretty much this is exactly what is happening right now. I mean, this is the environment in which we're living.
Welcome to my world. I remember a couple of weeks ago when I did a show, I made thunder and lightning outside, and my dogs were trying to hide below me in the desk. And my dogs are big. I've got a Belgian Shepherd and a Swiss Shepherd, both of them trying to cram themselves between my knees so they could just hide from the thunder and lightning. So at least I didn't have any kids there, just big dogs. So let's get back to the whole point about, are we going to reveal what O2O means?
Yeah, let's do it. I think O2O means offline to online. I think this is a new terminology that we're going to start hearing more and more often. If we think about it, I mean, after we have seen what is going on throughout this month, we can see that telecommuting, it's something that is just normal. Right now, we are doing the 1 minute commute to the 30-second commute from our beds to our offices for whoever is lucky enough to be able to do that telecommuting part of it. We're just basically working from home. And we are finding a number of different things. I mean, anywhere from schools to the way that e-learning is working, to the way that meetings are actually handled. So this is already something that is already taking place. Now, we have seen something also very interesting going on right now. This is also very popular, which is called telemedicine. So right now there's doctors which are attending their patients all the way from home, whether it is by Skype, whether it is by FaceTime, whether it is by Zoom, whatever is the platform, they are already doing this. So I think this is just something that is already changing. So what I predict it's going to be happening in the next few months, on the months to come, is that there's going to be a morphing economy into the offline to the online. Finally, I mean, it's not something that, well, you know, it hasn't happened, because of course, I mean, everybody's saying, well, go online, but they were still a lot of brick and mortar businesses, which I highly doubt they're gonna have a big rebound. So the important thing is, do you already started thinking what is going to be your O2O strategy? Or are you still thinking that you are going to go back to normal as we used to be a month ago?
Absolutely. And that's a great phrase, O2O, because digitization and the fourth industrial revolution was what was driving it. But over a period of maybe a year or so, maybe 2 years, and people were slow and sluggish and thinking, well, it's not going to affect me, but if it does, I'll be all right. This has thrown it right out there. So I want to look at a couple of areas where you can concentrate on getting your customers back if you can get them back. There's a couple of considerations you have to have. First of all, for each of your customers, once you've worked out who they are, when you've got an avatar of who these people are, you've got to think about their own job security, not yours, their own job security. If they feel that they're in an industry or in a business that's got a lot of challenges, they will not invest. They'll only do the essentials and they'll stick to what they've always done. So if you've got a new brilliant idea or a new way of signing up for something that's going to be fantastic, it's never been done on the market before, it really has to fall into what they need as essentials. Otherwise, they'll be reticent to getting involved. Another thing that's important to watch out for is that behavioral changes that we're seeing right now probably won't go back to the way they were before coronavirus was on everybody's conversation. Let's put it in perspective. Right now, everyone's going Amazon crazy. They're buying from a number of different delivery services, and they get stuff brought to their door. Right now, all the shops are finding it really difficult to exist if they're open at all because people just aren't going there. Well, I don't think they're going to go back. I think people are just going to get used to getting it cheaper, brought to their house, maybe a day or two after ordering it. And whereas people would do it for fun, now I think for people it's going to be a habit they're getting used to. And so that's going to mean that millions of shops around the world, corner shops, family shops, businesses that have been there for generations may not get their opportunity to come back unless they look at an online business, in which case that's a completely different challenge. And how are you going to go up against the big boys like Amazon that have got everything in their business already? So that means you got to look at a couple of other things. Getting worried about vendors and what money they've got and how much security. If you're out there selling your stuff and you're saying, work with me, got this wonderful plan, people are going to be thinking, yeah, but how long are you going to last? Have you got enough money to last? Have you got enough credibility? Are you, are we going to see me investing in you and you go missing overnight? I'm probably going to go with somebody else if that's the case. So you've got to think about that. Will you go bust? The only way to do it, and there's a thing called FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Now, the only way to prove that's not the case with you is by right now building up trust, honesty, and empathy. That means every day posting who you are, what you do, letting people know that you're very much in their face and you're very confident and things are working and you're there for them and building up the relationship. If you suddenly decide to pop up at the end of everything and say, guys, I've got something for you, people are going to be holding back and saying, I don't know you. I've only got a finite amount of money to use. I really don't know if I should spend it with you. So then we've got a thing called the 5 C's. And I got this from Inc. Magazine, the 5 C's of coronavirus businesses. Okay, first of all, communicate daily. As I mentioned, make sure that you're on social media. Make sure you let your tribe and grow your tribe and the people who are connected to you know that you've got confidence in yourself, confidence in them, and you're worth investing in creating that relationship. Then next, community and customer support. Really build that community. Really build it into your local community and your global one that you are connected, you are working with them, and that you are there with proper solutions. Another thing to do, a third thing, is to clean up and catch up. Prune the rubbish out of your business. If your business is a bit saggy or you're doing a couple of lines of stuff that don't work and a couple that are working really well, get rid of all the things that do not work. You will not have the opportunity to consider it when everything goes back into business. You really want to concentrate on the low-hanging fruits that are able to multiply and scale, that can just position you really well. So now's a great time to look at all the different things that you have. Some pay well, some don't pay well. Get rid of the non-payers or get rid of the ones that you can't dominate because they'll come back to bite you. Number 4, cash, and more cash. Right now, people are finding out that they didn't have enough money stored up. You need to think about that with your business. Any new business owner will know that it takes twice as long and costs twice as much to start a new business or a new venture. That's going to be even more prevalent now. So if you can, hold back on your budgeting, hold back on your spending, and be very aware that your business needs your cash to be able to thrive and advertise and connect with your new market. And the last thing I want to say is the last of the 5 C's is calm consideration. Making sure that you do meditate, make sure you have your head in the right space. You're not panicking publicly or online. You have to have a better strategy than your competition. And that usually means having a mastermind group. One of the reasons that myself and Ernesto spend so much time together is for 20 years or so, we've been talking as close friends, but also business colleagues about the way that the markets are changing. If you haven't got that mastermind partnership or you're not part of a mastermind group, get it now. Find people who you might normally want to work with, ideally ones that are a little step above you on the food chain, and start connecting and sharing ideas. You'll need those insights, especially when you're stuck inside your own house and you have no idea who's going to come out the traps fastest when the coronavirus moves. So those are the key things I would say about looking after your customers and getting your business back online as soon as you possibly can.
Those are great insights, Dave, and I fully agree with you with the last point that you were talking about the having a crisis management group, or as we possibly call it earlier, a mastermind. I think it's just absolutely critical. It's not all, I mean, we are always talking, but I'm also always talking with a number of different people here, which I 100% trust, that I definitely know that we can help each other reinvent ourselves, because right now is a time of reinvention. And once again, guys, look, this is one of those things. I mean, if you don't have a group like this, if you would like to keep on hearing about all the stuff that we're doing, please, I ask you to start listening to our contents on the podcast. Right now, we're very happy that we are not only in just 1 or 2 platforms. We are already across the board. We are in Stitch. We are in Spotify. We are in Apple. We are absolutely everywhere. And we are making sure that we get to connect with as many of you as possible, because we understand how powerful this information can be. So let's just, building on what Dave was saying, I was actually sharing with him yesterday that what I believe it's happening right now is we are getting to the Genesis 2.0. I keep on hearing, people saying at the beginning of the crisis, at the beginning. Genesis is basically at the beginning of the Bible, at the beginning. And right now, we are about to get to another at the beginning. So at the beginning of the moment that we left the crisis or the lockdown, however you want to call it, we have to completely be prepared. There's a gap from where we were towards where we're going to be after we come out. So one of the things that we need to think about is having business continuity. I think it's just incredibly important. And what happens is that if we start taking actions just by the stuff that we know, might not be exactly correct. So we cannot really trust our judgment anymore. We have to model what we are doing from other people. So the first thing that I recommend you guys to do is that you have to look ahead and constantly reframe your efforts. So you have a view towards where you're going. Like if you are in an airplane, you're flying an airplane, there's the wind blowing into the airplane, and of course it's taking you off route. You have to make sure that you're actually going into that direction. So you have to look ahead and constantly reframe your efforts. One of the things that you have to take into consideration is that we're moving to this O2O environment. That is absolutely critical. And this applies both ways. We are moving from offline to online. If you were a speaker, for example, and you have been doing events and all what you were doing is getting events might not be the thing that you have to, well, we're going to be doing webinars or we're going to be doing Zoom calls. There might be different things that you could do so that you can actually raise your income higher. And this is one of the things that we are doing business, Dave and myself, we're just trying to figure out how that works. So that's why you cannot just trust your judgment, because if not, you're going to start following the herd, and you have to be a little bit careful with that. Why? Because you have to identify what are the new consumption habits. You cannot only think about yourself, but you have to think also about your prospective customers. How have they perceived this entire thing? So first of all, you have to look ahead and constantly reframe your efforts. Second, you have to identify what are the different consumption habits. And third, from right now on, with people that you trust, listening to other experts, if you will, and I hope that we are also considered in that group, that you start planning your great reinvention story. And that, I think, is going to play a big, big role in what's going to happen afterwards. I mean, there's going to be businesses which are completely taken by surprise because they thought that they were going to go back to business as usual, which is not going to happen. There's going to be businesses which are going to barely survive for a few more months. But if you can already start planning your great reinvention story, that's going to be absolutely great. That's going to help you in your business continuity. So it is just incredibly important that you start thinking on this Genesis 2.0 story, that you start creating and working on a business online brand. And by that, I don't mean that you have to have and show how amazing you are and how incredible you are. That is wrong. And I repeat, that is wrong. You should be focusing in what is the value that you bring to the world, not how incredible you are, because at this point, nobody wants to know how amazing and how incredible you are. The me world needs to be eradicated, and you need to be focusing on how you can help and what's the value that you can bring to your customers and to the community.
I love it when you get aggressive. Ernesto's hot. A couple of things I want to share on the back of that. First of all, there's a fallacy. Every single customer that was your customer before is not coming back to you. You have to win every single customer back again. They are all on a reset. Don't think that they're there forever. You have to win them all back again. And the other thing about what you were saying there, about the me, to actually put in perspective, it's a very simple sales thing. People are only interested in what's in it for them, not what's interested in it for you. So you might be saying, I've got this, it's perfect for you. They're only thinking, is it any good for me? If it's not, I'm not interested. So think about your clients, your customer, your supplier, and your relationships and what they want out of it, not about where you want to be positioned, because there's a guarantee that that will not happen unless you're satisfying them and looking after them first. One of the basic rules of customer service. So I love those points that you brought up, Ernesto. Very, very important that people start injecting that into the way that they look at their business. And I think in many cases it is survival mode, but you also have to be prepared to go exactly the route that you said at the beginning of a show, the O2O, the offline to online version of your business. Maybe alongside what you're doing right now, but you've also got to look at it realistically. If you're up against the likes of Amazon, because they cover the logistics industry of delivering to your house certain products or other people in your street, then maybe that's not the business you should be getting into. Maybe you should look at the Airbnb business model, where they say, right now we're taking on the hotels by giving people the opportunity to do short-term rentals of existing properties, but while nobody's moving, let's get travel experiences and let's start selling them instead. So there might be a lot of value in being very out of the box and thinking differently. And that's one of the things that we're going to be pushing on this show. So we always value having you with us, and we hope that we give you as much worthwhile ideas to think about for you, your business, and your family and your friendships as we possibly can every single night.
Now, before we close, yesterday I received very nice comments on the show that we did on love, and somebody shared this beautiful video, which of course is very linked to the love, but it's also linked to the way that we need to be right now in business. Have a look.
Young man, why are you eating that fish? The young man says, because I love fish. He says, oh, you love the fish. That's why you took it out of the water and killed it and boiled it. He said, don't tell me you love the fish. You love yourself. And because the fish tastes good to you, therefore you took it out of the water and killed it and boiled it. So much of what is love, right, is fish love, right? And so young couple falls in love. Young man and young woman fall in love. What does that mean? That means that he saw in this woman someone who he felt could provide him with all of his physical and emotional needs. And she saw in this man somebody she feels that she can write. That was love, right? But each one is looking out for their own needs. Right? It's not love for the other. The other person becomes a vehicle for my gratification. Too much of what is called love is fish love. Right? An external love is not on what I'm going to get, but what I'm going to give. We had an ethicist, Rabbi Dessler, who said, the people make a serious mistake in thinking that you give to those whom you love. And the real answer is, you love those to whom you give. Right? And his point is, if I give something to you, I've invested myself in you. Right? And since self-love is a given, everybody loves themselves, now that part of me has become in you, right, there's part of me in you that I love. Right? So true love is a love of giving, not a love of receiving.
Very nice.
Beautiful message. Really, I've never considered it fish love. That reminds me of a story about a man and a dolphin, which we can't go near. But on that bombshell, what a beautiful sentiment. And it's so nice that amongst the people that are watching the show, that we get feedback like that. And I think it's a great spot to say, bringing back 020 tomorrow. Look after yourselves, have a think about your businesses, share all the ideas, find us online. And I can't wait to open up part 2 and all the things we missed out on today's show straight away tomorrow when we come back again. So Ernesto, it's been a pleasure. You rock. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Thank you, guys. See you, Dave.